welcome. We're very excited to have here with us Costanza Toninelli, a researcher at CNR in Florence. Thank you, Costanza, for being here with us. We're very excited to talk to you.
Thanks a lot, Felipe, for the invitation.
So the first thing we would like to maybe ask you is basically basic question of how you became interested in physics as a child, and in particular, at what point you developed the taste for quantum physics, and maybe later.
Yeah. Well, first thing is I've always been very curious in general, and about how things behave and why is that you know, like the moon doesn't fall on the ground and this kind of things. I was one of those children always asking a lot of questions. Then I went to school, and then it turned out that I was actually very like math and logics came out very naturally for me. And this is always, I mean, I think it's very common for physicists that you happen to find this language that is actually very easy for you to speak. And then in high school, I discovered this whole business about physics and these fundamental laws that can really apply over like many different things. And essentially, I find them like aesthetically very beautiful somehow. And so the combination of this curiosity, the aesthetics, close to philosophy in a sense, and the language of logics and math brought me to this. But yeah.
So you entered to an undergrad in physics in Florence University?
Yeah. There I started to study also quantum mechanics. That was essentially like revolutionary for me. It was mind-blowing when you discover that there's a whole universe when you go microscopic that behaves like in very crazy fashion. And
that you never heard about.
Yes. No, because unfortunately nowadays this quantum mechanics never really reaches out to high school students, at least up to now. I think now there's an effort also trying to reach out to younger kids, and I try to do that also. And I think essentially also now as a researcher, what I like about doing physics is the fact that I still see myself as the same child in the playground that is still trying to see what, as an experimental physicist, what happens if I do this, and what if I turn it the other way around, and just with the same, without really, maybe sometimes even without having a clear goal of the technology or the application. It's really like a child in the playground.
Curiosity.
Yeah, curiosity driven. It's really beautiful.
Fantastic. And then, so maybe in the interest of our for students who will see this, how would you explain your current research in simple terms, and what do you find it exciting or important about it?
I play with quantum mechanics and quantum optics in particular. So I study the interaction of light with matter at the single particle level. So we're able to isolate single molecules in solids. So we really interrogate one molecule at a time. And because it is one molecule, then it is able to process and to interact with one photon at a time. And so this really is a sort of paradigmatic system where many important laws of quantum mechanics were tested. And at the same time, it is also a toolbox for quantum technologies. And you can use the molecule as a source for non-classical states of light. I call them deterministic in the sense that I can ask the molecule to deliver a photon at a time. And this is very crucial resource for quantum communications, for instance, but also for quantum computing based on photons. And so this is, I think it has both a fundamental aspect to it and also some more applied.
And then as a scientist, we always face a number of challenges, but maybe can you comment on what's the key challenge that you have had to face in the last, I don't know, maybe even since you started your career, or maybe as a student, or and so on, and how did you face this, and what type of skills are needed to overcome this? Yes.
You know, like depending on the age, challenges are different, right? I mean, at the beginning, just physics is very hard and very difficult, and you have to study a lot. And, you know, like you have this students doing other things that go out at night, and you have to stay there and study. That's a challenge. Second, but nowadays that I'm like a PI in research, what I think it's really, I mean, I've been thinking about that. What I find it really difficult is to keep my mind free to really think what I want to do and what are interesting questions in physics that I want to pursue. Because in practice, you're distracted by many different things that are, on the one hand, bureaucracy, that can be like looking for fundings, that can be looking for people, and you are like partially, you have to be able to sell them, to package what you're doing and to sell it, and then there's a whole community of people that drives you in one direction. So I really think that to keep our mind free is the biggest challenge. And if in general you want to be free, I mean, and try to say this also to my children, really you have to be brave. You have to be brave, and you have to trust yourself, and you have to be yourself. And
so you strive to find the time to get creative again, and you need to
indeed.
Have the confidence, self-confidence on
there's this aspect of self-confidence, this really like and also the finding time and finding like a space of freedom in your mind, not to be influenced by whatever is around and what kind of pushes you in one direction.
And what's the role of these type of events in that? Do you think they help?
I think this depends a lot on the atmosphere. I have to say this event actually is very relaxed in this respect, and this helps, okay? But some of these events can be very toxic, okay? I have to say that the like quantum physics and I mean maybe also other communities can be very toxic, okay? And this doesn't really help, in which everyone is trying to oversell what they're doing and showing that this is really the things that everyone should be doing and that matters, and then so I mean it's not always the case.
Not very inspiring.
Indeed. I mean it's not always collaborative and relaxed, and that also sets you free. So you really have to find spots and to find bubbles where you can flourish.
That's a fair comment. And then maybe regarding the way of choosing a research topic when maybe starting a career like this. How do you think we should approach this process?
Truth is that in the end, life somehow happens, and then you just have to ride the wave like a surfer. There's a little bit of this, but you also have to be able to say no when you don't like something. You have to be able to, as I said, freely imagine yourself somewhere else, doing something else. I think one important point is you have to make sure that you're surrounded by good people, okay? Good people in many respects that can be inspirational, that can teach you, that can kind of promote you, that can help you flourish, as I said. So kind of having a nice environment around you is important. You have to have fun in what you do. Okay, you have to make sure you like it. I also like a bit to change topic. So I started doing atomic physics, for instance, in my master studies, and then I moved to study light transport in complex systems. So but this is very personal. As I said, you have to be yourself. I mean, I am like that, so I cannot like the whole life do the same thing. So I started with atomic physics, and then I jumped, and this helped me put together different points of view on this aspect, for instance, of light-matter interaction, and in this way, I think I could bring somehow my contribution, my own contribution, because it was the result of different
the build-up of various progresses and
So
that's very interesting. And then that brought you to quantum technologies with molecules, I guess, right? At this point, in that sense, how do you see this idea or notion of molecular quantum technology develop? What do you expect for it
in the future
to evolve?
Essentially, what I like a lot about molecules is the possibility to, in a sense, synthetically engineer the quantum system you like. Okay, this is very powerful. I mean, driven by potentially calculations of different kinds, you can engineer the level structure that you like, and this is really like no other system allows this. Okay, and it has the flexibility far beyond what you have in the chemical table, okay, because you put them together and then this is like a huge phase space, gives you huge flexibility. And this is one aspect, so the synthetic engineering. On the other hand, it also brings the opportunity to scale up the number of quantum systems that you can have, and in a way that is very challenging for other sort of competitive platforms indeed. And so I think this is where really molecules will play a role.
Have a promise.
Have a promise. And on top of that, there's also the complexity of the system itself, which I think is challenging from the point of view of the control, but also gives you the opportunity to realize interfaces, for instance, among different wavelengths and different degrees of freedom. And this is something that quantum technologies strongly need, okay? The possibility to interconnect different systems. And so you need to be able to switch energy in a coherent way. And this is also where molecule can help in terms of interfaces because of the different degrees of freedom that they can host.
And that's where the diversity of expertise is needed, no? I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very interesting. And now maybe switching topics a little bit, you are part of this initiative that I like very much. It's called Women for Quantum.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So can you tell us more about this initiative and what is your vision for it? What's your role, etc.?
Yeah, sure. This that you call initiative is actually something that was very spontaneously growing. Okay. So we're a group of tenured women in physics or in quantum physics, and we met once 2 years ago actually in Mallorca. Okay, it was a conference where we were only women discussing quantum technologies and quantum science, and but we also started discussing about personal experiences. Okay, so it is clear that most of the time when we talk about women in physics and women in science and STEM and so on, the problem seems to be the fact that we are underrepresented.
This gender gap that
yes, I mean in different respects. But what we discovered talking together is that there was a big elephant in the room that no one was really talking about, and that's shared among all of us, and that was really strong when we heard each other's stories. And that's a general feeling of discomfort. And apparently this feeling of discomfort beyond underrepresentation is something that all current initiatives of EDI, equality, diversity and inclusion groups at the national level, at the institutional level, they're not really able to solve. Okay, so we have started asking ourselves where it comes from, and to try to take a different point of view then, not that of a minority, but really like thinking how different it could be and how we would like science and our working environment to be. This is how the whole process started, and after about 1 year, we came up with this manifesto of values that has received, like in 2 weeks, hundreds of endorsements. From women, because we wanted to show that there was a strong support from other women that felt a similar way.
At all levels, students?
At the level of endorsement, it was open to all levels. We are, as women for quantum, we are only tenured female established, and this has some reason for that to be. One thing is we have very common experiences, and so that we wanted to be based on that. Second is we can afford a little bit, we don't fear
to speak
out loud,
yes.
essentially.
Yes.
And in this manifesto, we touch upon different topics that are not really like a small adjustment that you can make to, quotas or this.
Right.
I mean, we really would like to make a change. And there are many things that we discussed there, and I encourage all of you who...
I read it.
Yeah, you read it, and then to kind of to share it. One aspect is that of power redistribution. And where power is really I've printed this because it's something, the power is the ability to make changes, create new possibilities, and participate in decision making, okay? So you don't just want to be like the woman in the room, the woman in the room, and then you're there. I mean, we really want to to participate in decision making processes and so on. And what I have to say is that just the fact that we have this group and that we regularly exchange has had a big impact in my life, at least, and I know that in other people's life, because when we confront each other on specific topics, and you really know that you are not alone anymore. And this is very strong empowerment that we are getting, and that changes things. The way you behave, the way you sit in a committee, okay?
It's different.
It's different. You know that behind you, you have, hundreds of women that support you and that can help you, and that, might even help you to say, no, I don't want to be in this committee because it's useless and it's just, okay. We want rather this other thing, right?
That's very important, no?
Yeah, we have our own alternatives, and we're not we want to play maybe a different game.
And you need have the position of saying it, right? With that on equal terms and so on, if you want to do so.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
maybe this is fantastic. But maybe as a final question, can you recall the personal experience? So can you recall maybe a moment, a positive moment, that you have that helped you project yourself, even before becoming a faculty or a established researcher? Project yourself as a woman physicist.
I think I'm not really like the person who projects a lot. Just kind of do things what I like.
Okay.
But there have been important moments in my life. Rather than moments, there's definitely one big sort of empowerment that I got, and this is from my mother, in the sense that she's also a physicist, and she was a woman in career doing, and so for me it was natural that I could do that,
right.
So, and this is like
you have the role model.
There's nothing, nothing you can say that has such a big impact.
Right.
You have your mother, and your mother is a woman in career, and I never felt abandoned. So, I always felt so even when I've been told at the coffee machine when I was pregnant, oh, well, now, Costanza, you have to choose if you want to be like a good researcher or a good mother.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was told this by a full professor.
No?
And with a smile and with a laugh, of course. And then these are the kind of seeds that can destroy, your self-confidence.
Exactly.
But, okay, the seed might have gone somewhere inside myself. But, if you have already had 30 years of your life in which your mother was showing that this is not true, then this seed flies away.
Exactly.
And so that was like strong empowerment. And then I just want to maybe I remember this very moment, and this is maybe more recent. There are many moments in your life in which you're not sure what you're going to do. So maybe I will postulate for this position. Maybe I will take this 3 weeks writing grant, or instead I go on holidays with family. And so you are really in a superposition state. And then noise around you makes you collapse in one decision or the opposite one. And in this case, I had to decide whether to sit at home during COVID with the kids jumping on my back and writing the ERC application, or just give
Drop
it
it
up
out,
and
yes.
drop it out because it was. And then my partner just said, no, you don't let it go. I mean, you just sit down, I'll take care of everything else, the washing machine and everything, and you just sit down and do it, do your best. Although you have to write the reports, although you have to keep on managing the group, and you can do that, you can do that. You sit, don't distract, I'll take care. And and this is really...
So the supportive environment is key.
is fundamental. Yes. And then it's just this noise around you. He could have said, yeah, indeed, we're a bit busy these days. And that would have killed all this opportunity that I had.
Well, I'm glad he didn't. Yeah, now you got the grant.
Yeah.
Excellent. So thank you, Costanza. This
Thanks
was
a lot,
really nice.
Thanks a lot
thank you very much.
for organizing all this.